The journey to first class was not easy at all. I had to get over my first major disappointment in life. I originally wanted to study medicine. If I was to pinpoint a time when I started having issues mentally, that was probably the time. Again, that issue, I really had to, after that moment, I prayed, come and see fire prayers. I said, no way. This is not going to be an embarrassing problem that I'm going to be going with for the rest of my life. I cancelled, I nullified, I said Santa they did a bush, but they didn't, and they all crashed around the same time. So why don't I tap into that ministry that right there that she doesn't even know she's putting out? Why don't I tap into that and just try and refine my peace? Try. Now, third year, when I say my God is a God of divine turnaround, and I just thank God for this amazing thing called grace that just covers all sins, that just covers all the things that you do wrong. Hi guys, welcome to the Mo Chunk Show and welcome to another installment of Chit Chat with Chunky, when we get real about life experiences, and I just really talk to you guys intimately about some of my past experiences. Okay, now this video, I think it's been kind of like a long time coming, but I really wanted to wait until everything got sort of marinated, until I had achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve before I put out this video. And as you can see from the title of the video, we're about to talk about my university testimony, my university journey, my university experience. There's a lot of things put into one, so let's kind of just get into it. You guys may or may not have seen on social media that I got a first class in my degree, which was a degree in BSc Medical Physiology, which is basically a medical science, and it's a branch of biological sciences. But I kind of wanted to do the medical aspect of it because I'm more interested in like health and disease. Yeah, that was my degree. I kind of kept that on the wraps for a long time. A lot of people did ask me, like throughout when I would come on here and post about my university experience, talk about uni, give you guys advice on how to study and stuff, I would sort of either ignore the question or give a very vague answer. And that's because I'm a very firm believer in don't publicize things until it's certified. And now that I have my degree, I feel like it's okay for me to now come and tell you guys what I studied and, you know, give you guys more detail about what it's like studying a medical science. But first of all, let's actually talk about, you know, my testimony and the things that people didn't really see on the surface and stuff. The journey to first class was not easy at all. I had to get over my first major disappointment in life, and that was the fact that I originally wanted to study medicine. That for me was probably one of my first and biggest failures in life, I guess, because I was always kind of like the academic type, and I was always kind of the person that kind of won at school. If I wanted to do something, I would do it. If I wanted to apply for something, I would get it. So applying for university to study medicine and not getting it kind of shook my system, and it was something that I had to get over. And initially I didn't realize I wasn't necessarily over it. Like, I knew I was sad about it, but I didn't realize that it was slowly starting to like affect like my mental health, and that is something that came out more when I was actually in university. So got rejected from studying medicine, and then I had an email from the University of Leicester, which they sent to a lot of people that got rejected, to say, oh, but we have an amazing biological sciences course, would you like to come and study here? It was like the same thing for my other unis as well. I think one or two others. I think I applied to East Anglia for biomedical sciences, but I kind of had it in mind that there's this thing that you can do where you can transfer after your first year into medicine. So I kind of had it in mind that let me try and do the easier degree. So between medical science and biomedical sciences, biomedical science it's leveled up in terms of difficulty. So I thought, why didn't I just go for medical science, where I can kind of get my easy first class in first year and transfer to medicine. So that's kind of like the plan I had in my head of what was going to happen. Apart from that sort of aspect, I prayed about what university I wanted to go to, forgetting the fact that I'd been rejected from medicine, and I was praying with my mom and a pastor, and word kind of came out that University of Leicester is where I'll find favour and all of that kind of stuff. So I went with it, and I went to University of Leicester, and lo and behold, when I did get there, pretty amazing uni. I met amazing people that taught me so much, not just about my degree, about life, about my show, cameras. I learned cameras from people that I met, loads of creatives in Leicester. Trust me, like if you go to Leicester, you will know. Or even from like social media and stuff, you can tell that a lot of the creatives that you see on the TL, they come from the Midlands, they come from Leicester, that kind of area. So I learned a lot from people in that sense. I kind of had this dream as well that kind of gave me confirmation of what university I should go to. And it's funny because the confirmation didn't even come until after I was in that university, and that was, and I don't want to go into it too much because it's quite long, but just to cut the long story short, at the end of the dream I saw this door, and it was in a laboratory setting. It was like experiment gone wrong, so there were pigs running everywhere and all of that kind of stuff. And I saw this particular door, and for some reason this door really stuck in my head, and I don't know, I didn't really understand why. But it wasn't until it was my first year actually, I had a lecture in a particular building I've never been to. I went into this building, and lo and behold, I saw this door that stuck with me. So again, that kind of confirmed to me that I was meant to be there. Although not doing the course I originally intended to study, I was there for a reason. So that kind of gave me comfort in a sense, but I still wasn't really over it. I just said, let me just do my best this year. Let me get a first class. Let me transfer. Okay, so I did all I needed to do. I worked hard. I did all my my work experience, and applied again for the second time to study medicine, and I got my second rejection. So that was hard for me again to accept. There were 3 things that I asked God for that year. And the first thing was that I wanted to transfer to medicine. The second thing is that I wanted to find my partner. And I described who I wanted this person to be. I laid it all out to God. Because there's some pastors that will tell you be specific. I said I wanted him to be a dog, for example. I wanted him to be tall. I said I wanted him to be Christian. But I wanted him to have a bit of pizzazz, because I was still that kind of person that was like 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like I loved God, but there were still aspects of my life that were not all too, all too clean, if you know what I'm saying. And I kind of wanted somebody like that. Imagine that kind of request. And I felt like I met that person at the start of my first year. So everything was looking up. Met the person, like I was on track to getting a first class so I can transfer to medicine. The third thing I asked God for, I kind of don't really want to talk about it just yet because I know he's still working on it. So once that's, I'll come and share that testimony. Come just before my exam season, me and the person started having problems, and we kind of just called things off, and I kind of said I was done. So that was my first major heartbreak, and I was thinking, okay, well, even if that doesn't work out, it's fine. I've still got medicine. I know my God's got me. Coming to apply now in summer. All the necessary things. My UK CAT was on point. My exam results on point. My work experience on point. My reference from uni on point. It was now my reference from work that ruined the whole thing. So again, all my hard work just kind of came crashing down like that. The third thing I wanted as well completely flopped. So at this point, I don't know, that was when my mental health started playing up. And I don't want to call it playing up in that sense, but if I was to pinpoint a time when I started having issues mentally, that was probably the time. It was just too many failures for me to swallow up and to accept all happening at the same time. And these were things that I really wanted to work out, but they didn't, and they all crashed around the same time. So it was all a bit much for me to kind of accept. I kind of brushed it off to family and friends that, oh yeah, I'll try next time, but it really was something that really hurt me. And if I was to describe where I was in terms of my mental health, I think it was I just got to a stage in my life where I became very numb to life. I don't even know how to describe it. I remember one particular night, I was walking back, I had gone in second year, I was walking back from the library, and I just couldn't feel myself. You know them ones where you're here but you're not here, your physical body is here but mentally you're not here, your actual inner man is not here. And that was a really dark place in my life. I couldn't really speak to anybody because I'd got into that stage. Trust me, when you're an academic and you are trying to achieve a lot of things, you don't really have a lot of friends, except for friends who are academics like you, but you don't really get to do what friends really do because they're also busy being academics, if that makes sense. So very like lonely time in my life, in a sense that there wasn't really anybody I could share it with. And you know, when you're the strong one, everyone kind of just expects you to like get on with it and be cool. And even if you did get a rejection, she's okay, she's fine, you know, she's all right. But I think I kind of Googled my symptoms or whatever, and it's a branch of anxiety. I didn't get officially diagnosed, let's get that straight, but just from what I Googled, and it was called, if I remember the name, I'll put it right here, but it's when you like lose off kind of feeling in your actual like being. Second year, after the breakup with the person who I thought that was the one, I decided I wanted to be celibate. And that made second year really, really tough for me because apart from the fact that I don't really have a lot of friends and we have a lot of companions, the fact that I would have one or two guys there that I could call on if I needed somebody to be there with me in the night when I wanted to cry, or just somebody to talk to and all that kind of stuff. So that made it really, really, really hard. Second year, very, 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 very lonely time. I had my friend Oge, but like I mentioned, everyone's busy in uni, everyone's busy trying to get themselves a degree. I mean, I shared some of the things that I was going through with her, and she comforted me in the best way possible. But sometimes, you know, people aren't always enough. Also, I like cancelled my gym membership in second year. I had like 9 to 5s every day in second year, and it was really, really busy for me, including like labs and coursework, having to do all of that. And for that reason, didn't really have time to like work out and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys before, but in my first year I was like a size 10, and that was because after my A-levels, I decided to just take control of my weight, take control of my diet and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. Take control of my diet. So I got to a nice size 10. I was all nice and slim, still curvy, but nice and slim, everything tucked in the right places. And then when life got really, really busy in second year, cancelled my gym membership, forgot about healthy eating, late nights in the library, you eat junk, you eat all sorts of stuff. And that's when like the weight started like piling up. You know, it's funny because when I was younger, I used to always wonder, how do people get big? Like, do you not see yourself? But it's not really like, it's something that's very gradual, but you don't really see it happening until you get to a stage where it's like, whoa, okay, I look a lot different. I had to kind of come to terms with that, with the fact that, okay, I don't really have as much time as I had in first year to be gallivanting around, to be doing workouts here and there. I just have to accept the fact that I'm the kind of person that puts on weight easily. After uni, maybe I'll try my best to get rid of it. From like size 10 to end of second year, I was a good size 14. Again, not really feeling myself in terms of like attractiveness, but all of this were sacrifices I had to make just to make the grades I wanted to make, because I didn't get into medicine, but I felt like I had to compensate myself. And I felt like even the way like God would speak to me sometimes, he would always let me know that he would compensate me if only I just put in the work. I know I'd been rejected, but this is where I am right now. I just had to accept it and make the best of the situation. I was very, 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 very snappy in second year. Oh my God. I used to fight almost everybody. Like my friend Debbie, she will know. I was on the choir committee, and choir members probably know that I was very, very snappy. There was one time, oh my God, I shouted at my very good friend now, Shimon. I was like, Shimon, shut up. Like, I literally screamed at him in front of everybody, and I feel so bad till today for that. Like, that's something I would never do now. But a lot of it was me throwing out the frustration that I'd built up over the years of all this disappointments and all these failures and all these things that, you know, I had planned and didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to work out. And I'm a control freak, guys. Well, I was, until I started to let go and let God. For somebody who's a control freak, that's someone who's always in control, it's very, very hard to come to terms with things not working out your way. I remember I tweeted something about, and after I watched a sermon by T.D. Jakes actually, and it makes so much sense. You cannot love people you don't understand. And a lot of people didn't understand me, or not a lot of people took time out to ask me what was wrong or what's going on or why am I acting this way. I really wish somebody asked me. But it's made me again understand the importance of doing that for other people. When you see somebody lashing out, when you see somebody doing the absolute most over the littlest things, sometimes just take time out to ask them if they're okay, if everything's all right, before you judge them, before you say, oh, this one is angry, before you label them with these things that they probably aren't. That's just a little side note. I kind of talked about like it being very lonely in terms of like celibacy. All my links, they disappeared. Major season of singleness. I said to God, okay, it's me and you now. I'm just gonna accept it for what it is. Friendships, not that many friendships. Disappointments, I was up to here with disappointments in terms of like friendships. My health as well, oh my God, in second year it was very up and down because I was so tired and overworked, and also I thought it had something to do with the fact that I was celibate. Because when I googled, so you know you're always googling symptoms there, because migraines sometimes have something to do with hormones and stuff, and I tended to get migraines around just before time of the month, you know, when we females sometimes need a bit of loving. Okay, so I was thinking like, wow, am I getting migraines because I stopped, you know, all of that kind of, I left that life behind. But I kind of had to tell myself like, no, this is not going to make me go back. Like I'm not actually going to go back. I'm blurry vision as well. Like I could have probably dealt with the migraines, but the fact that my migraines came along with blurry vision, in a sense that meant I would be knocked out for like a day, and then it would take me like maybe like a day or two to recover after that. I remember one time I was in the lab and I thought, okay, maybe it's the chemicals, but I just couldn't. Like I was literally on the verge of fainting, and one of my lecturers literally had to drive me home against university policy, but just because I was so weak and I just needed to get out. Probably more on the embarrassing side. There was only one friend that knew this actually, and that was Eunice, and that's why things happened between me and Eunice, but that's more towards the end of third year. But for that reason, I will never ever forget her, and I will never stop loving her. Basically, I started to have like bladder problems. I don't know what was going on. Like there was just so many battles. Like I couldn't hold my pee anymore, and there was one really embarrassing moment, like to the point where I stopped drinking water if I knew I was going to be away from a toilet for a long time. I was that scared. Like, and there was one time where Eunice came and rescued me. Like I basically soiled myself, and I just literally just stood there where I was, and I was like, wow, a grown woman, why should something like this be happening? And I called two of my other friends, I will not name them, but they didn't come. But Eunice came, and she lives far, and she came, she gave me new clothes. It was another friend of mine actually, Angie, that gave me shoes, but I didn't really tell her the full story. But Eunice came and just sorted me out, and I went home, and yeah, really grateful for that. But again, that issue, I really had to, after that moment, I prayed, come and see fire prayers. I said, no way, this is not going to be an embarrassing problem that I'm going to be going with for the rest of my life. I cancelled, I nullified, I said, Santa bush. I prayed in tongues, and thank God he healed me totally and perfectly. I am still a bit jittery now, even till today. I still will be careful with how much water I drink when I know I'm going to be away from my toilet for a long time. But trust me, it was so bad as I would feel the pee coming and it would come out. That's how serious it was. But I thank God for again healing me of that. Same thing with the migraines. I prayed against that as well, and I have been free of migraines for a good year. And it normally gets worse around exam season. This last exam season that I had in third year, completely free of migraines. I don't know what my God did, but he did it, and he removed it from my life, and for that I will be eternally grateful. Okay guys, I'm just gonna pause this video real quick right here because I forgot one major testimony, and that was also in relation to my migraines. As I mentioned earlier, it usually takes me like a day or two to recover, and they totally knock me out. Had to go to the GP for them and got migraine tablets, which basically just send me to sleep. So basically one morning of my exams, this was in second year, I had a migraine, and I really had to just pray. I called my mom, she wasn't picking up, maybe she was at work, but I called my sister and I just prayed with her, and we both agreed in faith, and before I knew it, the migraine was gone. I still felt really faint, and I was thinking, what should I feel in, like mitigating circumstances forms, or what should I do at this point? Like but something in me just said go and do the exam anyway. After the exam, I did research how to do mitigating circumstances. I just felt like I wasn't my best throughout the exam, but somehow I forgot to do it, and results came out and everything, and I got a letter from my uni, from the head of my department actually congratulating me for my results. And I was just like, wow, my God, yeah, he really knows how to turn things around. The exam that basically I was meant to flop on a normal day. I cannot do a normal day with a migraine. I did a whole exam with a migraine, and it was the same exam that I got congratulations from my head of department. I'll even put it right here so you guys can see. And from this moment, I just knew, like, God is real. God is so real. Now, third year, when I say my God is a God of divine turnaround, it was actually more towards like December that my healing kind of started in terms of like mental health. There was a lady at my church and she had cancer, which she passed away to, unfortunately. God bless and rest her soul. It was when I went to see her in hospital. I remember her saying, let's pray. I don't know what she said. It was just something that was very like, despite the fact that her days are kind of numbered, she still had all these hope, happiness, peace, joy, so many like positive emotions. And I don't want to like downplay my emotions or the things I was going through, but I was like, okay, I faced a few rejections that kind of knocked me. Okay, fair enough, they were tough, but look at this lady right now, almost lifeless, and she still has hope. So why don't I tap into that ministry that right there that she doesn't even know she's putting out? Why don't I tap into that and just try and refine my peace? Try. It's not easy. Depression, anxiety, mental health is not easy, but if I just try to forget all of that and hold on to the fact that I have hope, I have life. When there is life, there is hope. I'm telling you guys right now, when there is life, there is hope. There is always time. There will always be a moment of turnaround if you just hold on to it. And I know people might be in university right now, might be going through the same thing that I was, or even worse, different, whatever. The emotions, the feeling is the same. It gets better. I'm telling you, it gets better. When I saw that woman, I tapped into her ministry. I tapped into what she was putting out. I said, I'm going to refine my peace. And that was when I went on a journey with God, season of singleness. That's when 14 Days of Love started becoming birthed and all of that kind of stuff. I started to heal a lot of like past issues, daddy issues, everything that was just underneath and rotting from the inside out, and things started to get better. Third year was tough, busy, but I found this peace. When peace like a river attended my way, it is well with my soul. And that is how I would probably describe third year, because so much was going on, but I found this peace in Christ. And the fact that I started to know God so much more for myself in second year, I found comfort, I found strength. I just found it's peace, like peace amongst all the higgy haga that was going on around me. I was so happy. It was the happiest year of my life in uni, although it was meant to be the toughest. What dissertation, what coursework upon coursework, what non-stop dissertation from beginning to the end, by the way, and then straight away into exam season. It was not an easy year, but my God was by my side and I felt him by my side. I felt his presence. I'm not saying my Christian walk was perfect. I'm not saying everything was perfect around me, but each time I fell down, God picked me up. Like I said it in my Instagram post, he broke me down, remolded me into a better human being each time, and gave me a new outlook on life. With everything that happened, I just wrote it down here. I'm just going to read it. I let go of like my past hurts and disappointments. I read the book Woman Thou at Loose for the whole of my third year by T.D. Jakes. What a blessing. It really, really healed me further. I watched an amazing sermon, No More Sheets, by one. It's a binom. This allowed me to let go of all of the past like sexual relationships that I'd been in, all these past lustful relationships, all these things that I'd found myself in that had been choking me up and holding me back a lot in life. So it really helped me let go of that. I formed amazing friendships. Oh my God, I've got right here, Orolua, you are my heart. Like, I love you so much. You were there when nobody was there. You were there with me on my 21st birthday doing countdown when I was making my wig. Like, my shorty, Girl, you have my heart. I will never ever forget you. Prince, amazing guy, always there for me. Shimon, same thing. Prince and Shimon were basically like husband and wife. They lived in the same house. They were always disturbing me, but I really loved it every time they came around. They comforted me, they gave me food, they made me laugh. They just made my 3rd year such a blessing. Debbie, I mentioned before, we used to fight a lot, especially when we were doing choir. She turned into my prayer partner. A lot of the things I was going through, she was there praying with me. I love you so much for being there for me, for holding me, for comforting me. Like, girl, I love you. I have to pause this video one more time, just as I've mentioned people who I sort of met in my 3rd year and made my 3rd year amazing, but I think it's also worth mentioning my girls who have been with me from 1st year, who have always held me down. You can see Kiki there, Oge, Eunice, Bethia, and my girl Adele. These are all my rocks and friends for life. My love life got incredibly better. God opened the door just before I started to release 14 Days of Love. I met, let me not give too much info, but met some amazing people. So started dating again and all of that kind of stuff. And to round it all up, I got a 1st class in my degree. And boy, there was one particular exam, guys. I couldn't finish it. I really couldn't finish it. The last bit of the paper, I really wrote rubbish and nonsense. I know for a fact. The paper itself was too long to do in a time frame that they gave it to us. It was a long debate. Like, people did petitions, people wrote emails, people were angry, people were crying. But God just told me he will compensate me, and he just said, you know what, just let this go. It's happened, just happened on here. And God kind of knew where he was taking me to anyway, so I kind of just held on to that. I said, okay, well, this exam might not have gone well. My God is the kind of God that qualifies you even when you're not qualified. Who knows, in reality, I may have gotten 0 on that section of the paper, but God might have turned it around to turn it into a 1st class. I don't know what he did, but he did it. Yeah, literally throughout exam season and after exam season, there were literally like whispers of failure from the enemy in my head. I wasn't even thinking 2-1, I wasn't even thinking 2-2. Enemy was whispering failure in my ear, and I kind of had to just rebuke that each and every single time it came. And when I opened my results and I saw 1st class, I was literally shaking. I couldn't believe it. Like, my friends were saying, oh yeah, I knew you were gonna get a 1st class, but when I tell you, me, deep down inside of me, I thought something was gonna flip and turn this into something terrible. But God had my back, and God just propelled me forward, even in a way that I didn't deserve, because like I said, my Christian walk in 3rd year especially, like, I tried my best, but it wasn't the straightest. And I just thank God for this amazing thing called grace that just covers all sins, that just covers all the things that you do wrong, and the fact that God has this perfect unconditional love for us. Like, regardless of what we do, regardless of how we treat him, he's always very loyal to his children. And I honestly thank God for his grace and favor over my life. Yeah, guys, that is literally my university testimony. I think if there was a song that was to summarize all of that, it would be He Turned It. Because what hell meant for my evil, to just turn me into to keep me in a very, very dark place because of things not quite working out, God turned it around into something that helped me get to know him more. Because it was in the times when I was in trouble that I learned how to read my Bible more, that I learned how to pray more, that I started speaking in tongues. Through all my trials and tribulations, I got to know God, and that's what brought me to my testimony. That is it. I really hope you guys learned something from it, and those of you that still have university going on right now, don't worry, it gets better. There is an end point. Just work hard. I will be doing educational videos as time goes on, just to give you more tips. But honestly, work hard, pray, be of service. Oh, how can I forget to mention my church family, my amazing church family. I was not always the best in terms of availability, but I made sure every Sunday I was in church. I served in the choir. I feel like that was part of the reason. Service to God is really important in ministry. Like, making time for God is really important. You don't feel like you just have to just brush everything aside and just focus on school. Make sure God is at the center forward of your life. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all of the things will be added onto you. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, share with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel for more. Until next time, guys, peace and love, peace and chunks.